right, everybody, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the market. And boy, oh boy, was it red yesterday, guys. My goodness, the markets went crazy and they could be even getting ready for more action. So we've got a lot to talk about today. Obviously, as per usual, we'll go through these indices. We'll go into the crypto markets. We'll talk a little bit about commodities. Then we'll wrap back around into your favorite stocks. If anyone is super chatting, of course, I will usually answer their super chats after about 10 minutes into the stream. We want to cover these indices as much as possible. Did anyone get those shorts in yesterday underneath the 15,000 on the Nasdaq? Underneath, of course, some key zones on the US 500. Were you nimble? Were you fast? And did you close at the key supports? Let us know in the chat right now. I'm interested to see what you guys thought. My goodness. It's going to be good. Aliriza says, better feeling when you've got 50% cash on the side and get in on a red month. That is true. It's always a great feeling. Giovanni says, Tom, are we finally hitting 800 on Tesla today? Didn't we kind of already hit it? Or did we not quite get 800? I had the target just underneath. Yeah, 798. So, yeah, look, 800 is a key zone to be looking at. Tesla is still very strong, along with all auto manufacturers, actually. They're all looking strong. Ford looks strong. We had a look at that in the webinar. Look, with Tesla, we know 760 is kind of a key support. We know the bullish trend has been much better in this recently. It's probably the first kind of couple of months that we've actually had a good-looking chart on Tesla almost all year. I mean, it's been horrible up until, I would say, turn point around here in July, maybe August. Yeah, I would like it to hold above 782 this week. It's at 784. 800's key resistance. Above 800, we're talking 880. Just remember, above 800, we actually get to talk about 880. So it's exciting times if you're in that type of thing. Let's move over to the Nasdaq, though. I want to talk about Nasdaq. See if anyone got some shorts in. A few people got some shorts. I sold 100 shares of NEO at 34.60, lost 2K. Ooh, bad luck, Frank. But hopefully you learned maybe some lessons from whatever happened there. And yeah, you can get that 2K back in the future. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, says Big Dipper. That's good. In yes, close no, says Leonard. Oh, okay. So you might be either buying the bottom or maybe you took the short in and you think there's more to come. All right, let's zoom in. Let's zoom in. I'll go full screen. I think these zones are too important not to discuss. So firstly, we know we're at 14.8. Now, 14.8, whether you want to believe it or not, is a pretty key level. It's a 20 moving average on the weekly. We saw it bounce off it once before. And you know how rare? I'll get rid of the fib. I'll pull this to the side because I want to use this Fibonacci for pullback reasons today. Stupid fib. It's stuck, guys. I can't find it. All right, let me go down the 2 hour. All right. Fib. Get rid of this. There we go. And when we go back over to the weekly, it's pretty damn rare for us to ever actually close under such a bullish hammer. So such a big bull candle like this, it's actually very rare to see one of these taken out on the indices. But if it is, and it does get taken out, I'm seriously thinking not only is 14.5 very likely, but 14K is very likely. Weekly close this week, these zones become very, very open. We'll talk about it. If you're looking at buying the dip, there is a very good case to be made for this particular level. I would usually wait for a little bit further clarification. But remember, investing is different from trading. If you're trading this dip, you're looking for that little lightning bolt action. You're looking for that slight new peak, and then you're taking that long into the key resistance. If you're investing, you're just basically picking a level and saying, bam, I'm going to smash that in. It might be Apple, which we'll take a look at later. It might be whatever else your favorite stock is. This is the key zone. Let's take a look at the daily. So daily, you'll notice it closes below. Very bearish looking candle, but still on the 14.8. This is the futures, remember. Then we go down to the 2 hour. And this is where we can start to bring in the fib. So if we take a fib from peak to trough, let's say we get that fib out, fib retracement all the way down. And we pull that across so it's a bit easier for you guys to see. What you'll notice is that we're at the 23.6 coming into the market. So that means the market has pulled back to a 23.6 fib. This is an aggressive type of short zone. I think somewhere between here and here makes sense if the bears are going to get control of this market and push a new low today. I cannot understate how important I feel this 14.8 closure below would be. 15,000 is where the 38.2 fib is. That's where the previous day's session, of course, opened up. We got that sell off underneath, and we've got the previous support becoming resistance. So for day traders, they're going to have these key lines. They're going to have a line here. They're going to have a line here, horizontal, and then they'll have their all important closure point underneath here, where they'll probably scale further in towards the short side for 14.5. So day traders have got it all set up. These are the zones that I would be looking at. You'll see when we have a look at the S&P 500 in a minute, it's super, super similar. The other argument that people are bringing in right now into the markets is, of course, what are we thinking about the markets? Are they overvalued? You know, by a lot of metrics, this is the Felder report here. And basically they're saying the number of actual stocks in the S&P 500 with over 10 times revenue valuation, remember, this isn't PE, this is revenue, is the highest it's ever been. It's higher than even the tech bubble. Now, I'm not necessarily as scared as some people would be by a chart like this, but it does show you that the market is very, very, very highly valued. And that's, again, why it makes sense that we're getting a little bit of a correction. I think a lot of the businesses, though, that are highly valued here have way more scalability than, of course, the absolute joke fest over here. Back in the 2000s, and I didn't trade it because I wasn't old enough, but back in the 2000s, things that to come to mind, pets.com, companies that literally were just like a website that had nothing on them. You know, over here, we've got real businesses. Over here, you've got super questionable stuff. And that is a big factor when you look at these stats side by side. Does anyone have that fear in the market? Are you fearful of this huge valuation that we're seeing? Are you thinking there's 50% pullbacks in the market still, guys? Or are you thinking this is more like an 8 to 10% standard pullback? Most likely scenarios for the open, which is just under an hour away. Most likely scenarios, we either open around this high or we actually pull all the way back down and open around 14.8. Unlikely to be at the middle of the zone, but you never know. PK Subban says he wants to see a big dump. Is it overvalued? And then watch this, please, guys. China dumping video. I'm not sure what that means, Simon. Bitcoin is over. Not necessarily, Jesus. Not necessarily. And then Ben Illett says, "Hi Tom, can I see your VPR VR inputs, please?" Ben, send me a Discord message with what you're asking for, and I'll check that out. So yes, Nasdaq pull back to 23.6 makes sense for it to be a bit of a weakness level. If we close above here in the trade, I believe we're going towards 15,000 for day traders, and then that's where the big sell pressure would come in if it is. That therefore would be where I'd look for lightning bolts, smaller time frames, and then take shorts back down. And if we get above 15,000 and close above there, then of course we'll go and test the 15.2. So the moral of the story is every 200 points counts. Every 200 points is what's up. And when we break underneath, if that does happen underneath 14.8, I believe 14.5 is the next zone from a technical standpoint. Move over to the US 500 and quickly answer this one. Very similar scenario. 38.2 fib here hits in exactly at 4,400. It makes perfect sense that 4,400 would be a point where if we had weakness, sellers will try to come back in. You can see the futures market here is dropping back in potentially to around that 43.50. And closure underneath here leads into, of course, 4,300. And 4,300, we know underneath that, 4,200 is the next stop. So we've got really clear zones. I feel like they're the best levels we've had in a while here in the markets. We've got 4,400, 4,350, 4,200, and of course, 4,300. These are all key areas that I would be looking for price action change. And there are lots of reasons why. I mean, why 4,400? Double zero psychology, previous resistance before that big bull pickup that we saw. It's just these types of common sense things. And you might say, oh, Tom, it seems too obvious. Well, there's a lot of obvious things. People would also go, well, it seemed too obvious that you should have sold up here because it's the bottom of the downward trend line. Now, it all looks obvious in hindsight. The question is, can you see it in the future? Can you see these types of patterns? Do you recognize what matters and what doesn't matter? And a 38.2 fib pullback of the whole move does matter. A 4,400 does matter. And a close below previous low, especially on that Nasdaq below 14.8, really does matter. They're the kind of zones we look for. Mike, $5. Good evening, Tom. What are your thoughts about the Oz government strong arming the citizens? Do you think that it will happen in the US? Probably getting a bit political there, Mike. I'm not going to really get into it. Obviously, I'm in Australia. I'm not happy about being locked down. I'm sure many of us aren't. It's super unfortunate. I just want to keep on the financials, though, and obviously talk about the technical stuff. Otherwise, it'll just become me having a whinge fest. Anything's possible. I think the US is more. I think there is less likelihood that it happens there. That's just my opinion. We're kind of like a little bit willing to do things. I mean, obviously, a lot of Australians aren't, but overall, we're more likely to stick with it. I think the US wouldn't happen. That's just what I think. But it's not wrong or right either way. Let's get back into the financials and talk about some other stuff. Scott Morgan says, America. I do love that. It's like what was that film all those years ago? Oh man, I've forgotten it. It had the puppets. It was made by the South Park guys. It had some great songs in it. That was a funny film. William Wilson says USA never will happen. Yeah, I agree with you. It won't. All right, let's get back into the financials here. Keep talking about these things. So Nasdaq, S&P, we have the key levels here. We've got the 4,400 from the resistance standpoint. We've got, of course, the 4,350 from the support standpoint. We know that in the middle of this zone is kind of like guessing realistically. We've got Fibonacci pullbacks. And guys, they're the levels that I would be looking at today. Closure below, potential pickups off this zone, looking down into the 5-minute, 1-minute, 15-minute chart, using your current systems and just recognizing the key levels. That's what a lot of you come here for. May I also say thank you very much to 844 people already joining us for today's stream. If you guys smash the like button, it does help us out as well. I do appreciate it. US 30 up a little bit less. Some people may be saying to me, Tom, this looks like a flag here on the futures. You could certainly argue this. Futures market, I don't tend to look as at much in terms of patterns, but that's what happens often during the Asian session. Asian-European session, slow pickup. Then the US session comes in and shows us the way. You know, it'd be a crazy scenario here on the Dow if it did something like this. It goes up, busts through, and then creates a shooting star style candle. Very bearish kind of concept. We've had it a few times here. It's bearish if it happens in the first hour because it shows that there's been a stop hunt. So really, if you ever get those kind of markets where they push up hard and they fully reverse and you think, what just happened? That's money flow, guys. That's legitimate stop hunting by the big players against you. And they'll always do it in the hour of power from retail, because that's where they make the most amount of money. They trap you into a concept. Let's say it's buy the dip. Everyone gets in, they YOLO in, they do all these sorts of things. They get the options in. You'll usually see huge flow into certain stuff. And then all of a sudden, bam, it flicks around. Chat, let me know. Have you seen that before? Let me know in the comments down below if you've seen that before. That would be crazy. Some people asking here, Gerard says, Tom, can you please have a look at the euro US dollar? We'll go into the crypto in a second, and obviously we'll do that Forex. But yes, I will actually do it. And I don't usually go into the euro US dollar, but I want to talk about it because dollar index is wild. Take a look at DXY. It's just flagged here and it's going super bullish. That's a legitimate flag. Remember, this is not a futures market. It's always trading. It's a legitimate flag with legitimate bullish move. We just finished the weekly webinar. Join us, FX Evolution Live, our second channel. And we were going crazy about it. And for good reason. It's super bullish. It looks like FX is back in play. And when you've got the dollar index going through a weekly double bottom, this is what happens. You end up getting this really crazy swing capability. And we've got the potential of up to 97 here. So if you want to trade the inverse of the DXY, the strongest correlation is always the euro. and it's just tanking. I mean, these were our plans. Our plans were basically sell through here, obviously take it into the 116.20. And then after that, if you get underneath that zone, you can really see the power of the short that could come through. So yes, it looks very bearish. And no matter what time frames you're looking at here, even though I know a lot of you aren't currency traders, look at this 2 hour 20 as well. Look at the 2 hour 20. It's the same things we always talk about. Currency, the same methods we talk, currency, commodities, stock market, crypto market. It works in all of them. You just need to understand the slight nuance difference. So very bearish there. Great stop hunt happened on the pound as well early. Flag, look at the pound get flogged down. Really weak looking market. And check out the stop hunt here, guys. This is the beginning of the London session. I just want to show you it. There's 2 stop hunts here and they're nasty. And once you recognize them, you get really excited. So we have the flag breakdown. Then everyone probably goes short. It goes hugely bullish. You get a reversal 15-minute pin. That then rejects back down to where you would take your scalp profit. And then you get 2 long leg dojis with a closure confirmation underneath. Now, this is a 15-minute chart where many scalpers and day traders will be. And these types of patterns, once you see them, you just go, oh my goodness, I've got to get in. And when you bring your top-down analysis with it, you bring in that 1 hour flag, you bring in it all. You can tell I'm excited about this stuff because it's cool. It's on. It's really, really moving. The flow is happening here in the markets, and it's exciting stuff. All right, we'll get back over. I know a lot of you don't like it, but that's my thoughts. The weakness is fairly real here in the DX pairs. Go back to our stocks. So we'll start off with Bitcoin as well. And we've also got a donation coming in here from Monica Nakamura, $5. Learning more than I can absorb from your streams. Thanks so much. Yeah, I do ramble a lot. Thanks very much, Monica. Appreciate your $5. Sometimes you can go back and watch them. Look, I'm always going with what do you guys want to see? If you want to see us deep dive into specific stocks, I know some channels out there, they basically just talk about 2 or 3 stocks. We seem to be a bit of a variety stream. I'm happy with any market, except for, of course, soft commodities like wheat. I don't like those. But yeah, I'm happy with any market. And I just believe that when you understand technicals, you understand the markets, and you know they're all linked, you'll start to really untap this. You'll find your favorite one, but ultimately the same concepts will apply across most of them. Do you guys agree with that? Let me know. Let's see what you guys think. So the 4 hour here, it continues to reverse off 4,100. So 40,700 is the key zone here. And it continues to reverse, but it's really just trapped. I mean, you get rid of this line, you can see it. It's weakening here, Bitcoin. And it keeps putting pressure on this low. And if it gets underneath here, I'm sorry to say, 38K is the next zone underneath this zone. It really is weakening. Like, this is not a strong looking market just yet. Ethereum is kind of similar, except it's slightly stronger than Bitcoin, kind of holding that 2,800 base, bouncing slightly more. If we get rid of that again, the only key level that I'm looking for really bullish intentions is 3,200. Once you close above 3,200, like the 45K on Bitcoin, we can move towards the 36s. And that's good. But this is a giant channel. And if you close underneath, you better not be being bullish for a little while, because that's a bad close. You get underneath this 2,800 on a significant time frame, you better be prepared for 26, 24, or even worse. Let's scroll out and have a look. This is the next zone, 24. I'm deadly serious here. It is bad. You know, you get underneath here, participation. Understand that these gap zones, when you look at the left, and it's basically just flogged straight into it, and it's holding this zone, which was previous resistance, this is where you know that supply demand is real. And when you close underneath an area, remember, none of these are closes. They're all wick purchases on the big time frames. It begins that participation. The algorithms get in, fear comes through, lack of liquidity in the currency markets go through, cryptocurrency, and it all smashes down to 2,400, and then usually overshoot a little bit and see that instant bounce. So they're the key levels I'd be looking at on Ethereum, etc. Ben Eilert might want to know something about my indicators and settings. Yeah, I just use standard settings. If you want to know the moving averages, I use the 20 exponential moving average, guys. I use the 50 exponential moving average. That's the blue line, the 200 simple moving average, and then volume profile, just standard on the right hand side if you want that, and just standard volume at the bottom. You don't need to use rocket science. You don't need the new fantastical indicator. If you scalp, VWAP would probably be worthwhile. But other than that, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. In our course, we talk about RSI, MACD. If you want to use MACD, top tip, don't use the standard MACD. Use this one, MT4 MACD. This is the one to use. Much better. Much, much better. I hate the standard MACD. It's terrible. Nasty stuff. All right, let's go talk about Tom. Are you still riding the NVAX roller coaster? Yeah, but I know it was down heavy. 204. Yeah. Nasty, nasty. And you can see here 210 now, like trying to get back up there. Yeah, that was a pretty brutal day on NVAX, but it's not unexpected. You've got to put your risk adjustment on when you're talking about bio. That was a pretty brutal. It's basically just, it's in nowhere land. I wouldn't buy or sell that thing today. I would just sit there and wait for it to give a clearer signal. When the market drops, it will usually collapse tons of stocks. NVAX hasn't been incredibly strong. We know it's been in a channel. It also false broke for us. It's all about announcements. That's really all that happens here on that type of stock. Let's have a look at Apple though together, because Apple bounced down to our key support yesterday. I'm sure a few of you out there probably bought the dip here and you were like, yes, I'm going to buy this support zone. I love Apple. I'm interested in getting into it. Now, if you bought the dip, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you're looking for the close trade into the most likely scenario the next day, it's usually going to be it's going to go up into the market. We will be doing close streams as of next week. So if you're interested, come and join us on the close streams, because the close is the key, as we often say in trading. And this particular level, I totally see why people bought it, looking for that pure market, just, normal buying the dip in the morning with the retail crowd. You buy the close, you wait the hours between the close and the open, and usually the futures will shoot up, especially when you pick the key levels. So it's not a bad strategy in itself. The close is the key. If you're looking at, is this the full recovery of Apple? I don't think so. You're still waiting for lightning bolts. You're still waiting for double bottoms. And just remember, things will only really be bullish once you close above here. So when you do this, what you've done is you've created a double bottom. At that point, statistics are in your favor towards further bullish pressure in Apple. And it's exciting times. But I haven't lost hope yet for my plan. And my plan is, I want cheap Apple on my giant trend line that's been very good to us in the community for a while. We need the giant trend line, guys. And this giant trend line, if it does close underneath this 140, is going to be around that 130 to 135 range. In fact, I'll put a box on it right now for you. Why not? We'll put a box on it. Let's do it together. So we'll go in here and we won't use the wrong thing. Where am I? There we go. Rectangle. I'm going to use this level here. And I am going to put that down to 130. I'm going to bring it down to about 135. And somewhere in here, I would set an alert for my Apple if it was coming down, because I like Apple long term, even though they continuously don't innovate. And I would like to see them bounce off this area. What do you think about that area, guys? Is that a fantastic technical zone? Yes or no? Let us know in the chat right now. Scott Morgan says, why EMA, SMA? So we use EMA because it's faster. So obviously exponential moving average, higher weighting on the most recent price candles. More important when you're a day trader or a scalper, or well, scalpers, moving averages aren't the best on it. But basically day trading or swing trading, you want that more emphasis on these faster markets on the front. A 200 is a huge amount of candles. So you don't need the speed on the front. You just want it standardized. When you read UBS reports, if you get a Bloomberg Terminal, you read the Goldman reports, you read Morgan Stanley and all these guys, they use MACD, they use RSI, they use moving averages. A lot of them will use 20 SMA. I'm not telling you they won't, because 20 SMA is the most popular. I like 20 EMA personally. And then 200. 200 is well considered moving average. 100 is also good. Some people use 150. I like these three. We've found them to be very, very, very good. Very good. James Gale says they don't innovate, but they buy companies that do. And that is definitely a strategy that can be applied. Yeah. So I like both these levels. And I'll explain it with the NASDAQ why it's so important because of this. Now, we have our giant channel. Okay. That this is the best channel to have. If you don't have this channel on your charts, you really should put it on your NASDAQ and you should probably fix it like I haven't done that. So this channel here has predicted, of course, the peak, which is why we got neutralized. And it's also been an incredible dip buying experience. If you see it close underneath this 14.8, so the NASDAQ currently is 14,860. So if it closed underneath 14.8, 14.5, and then down here on the trend line becomes the most likely position for it to go. And whenever you're talking about corrections, you're also talking about the most likely moving averages to hit. And you're not going to necessarily hit the weekly 50 here, but the NASDAQ doesn't have a tendency to get straight to the weekly 50. The S&P does, but not the NASDAQ. Notice how it doesn't hit the weekly 50. It hits a moving average in between. And I think you'll find that that moving average will be right around here. If you go find it, it's probably a 40, 42, something like that. And at the same time, it's going to be basically hitting in. And again, you'll have to readjust because this thing's not logged. Hitting in with that 14,000, hitting in with the 4,000, 4,200 S&P. It all makes really good sense. And when it makes sense, then you can really get behind it. I like also the fact that percentage pullback would never be over 10%, which is right in line with the standard correction. Right in line. All I want is Touch ID back on the iPhone. Come on, Tim. Apple, get it together. Yeah, they should have like a thing, yeah, where you press it here and it's on the screen. I kind of agree with you. That would be good. But the biggest thing with Apple right now is hertz, guys. It's magical. 120 hertz, but it's not really 120 hertz. Fed. It's crazy. They barely innovate. They get away with it every year. It's just because their software is pretty damn good. All right, let's move over to some other markets. We'll go to IWM, still in the middle of nowhere land. 220 support, 225 resistance. It did sell off fairly aggressively yesterday, which is why we don't trade it. Because if you were trading this, it gave you a false signal. Look at the false signal, guys. False breakout past 225. Should go to 230, bang, smashes you. This is a crediting market system. We're stuck in a range. I don't like trading the middle of ranges, and that goes for anything. If you notice a big range, trade the extremes or trade credit ideas between each side. And if you don't know what they are, check out our options course. You don't want to be stuck in the middle range because look at this volume profile over on the right. It's the most touched area. Of course, it's in the middle of the channel. And the most touched area, someone in the chat, big brains out there. What do you think happens in the most touched area to your trades? Glenn Bear, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Do appreciate it. Let's see if anyone knows. Is BA forming an upward channel? Haven't looked at BA recently. Let's have a look at Boeing. Still on our resistance. This is our chart. These are our key levels to break through. We went through 224, actually doing it today. And above this trend line is a big deal. We'll bring that back into our list because it's getting close to a nice breakout for trades. I agree. Paul's got it. The chop shop. Absolutely. The chop shop, Paul. You're on. You've done it before. You've traded the chop shop accidentally and then got chopped up. I agree with you wholeheartedly. That's exactly what we're looking for. US 10-year. This will be another one that we'll need to continue watching through the next couple of weeks should we get pullback. Actually, a close above 155 would be a big deal for the US 10-year because we have previous supports, resistances. We know we get above this zone now. We start move. We pretty much are talking about 1.75. And if it happens, let's say it closes above here and goes rampaging back up similar to last time, This is what's going to happen to the Nasdaq. Down, down goes the Nasdaq. Am I worried about it? No, not at this stage. But the Nasdaq will get a shock crash. It will move underneath the 14.8, and we might be at the bottom of our delicious channel faster than you think. Faster than you think. A BNTX and mRNA falling knives. According to TA, it's possible they come back to the 450s. I think I'll do Moderna for you here, Burak. Yes, this is, well, it happened, didn't it? This is exactly what we were afraid of yesterday. Bearish close, didn't like it. I put this line down as the support. I guess it hit it. I wouldn't really say that I'm scared of it here. I don't think there's the double top kind of already completed. It's mostly about the Nasdaq now, because Moderna moved up, as far as I'm concerned, too fast, too quick. It's so far away from its weekly. I want it back on the weekly 20 to buy it if I was looking at investment side. Investment side, you're looking like 333 because that's where it's bounced off before. But from a trade side, I would look for a bull up until this level, about that 400, and then small bearish move, like bearish kind of lightning bolt, and then take it back short. But I don't really like shorting these types of stocks that much. So yeah, I don't feel it's a good value here. I don't feel much about this trade. 50 exponential moving average and slight support through the zone. Double top up here though, so weakness is ensuing. Again, markets all sitting around a little bit of weakness coming in. 4,400 key resistance here for the US 500. 4350, a key break of support. Then we go to 4300, and underneath 4300, let the floodgates of selling open, because at that point the US 100 will be under 14.8, and we're talking 14.5, 14,000. These are very likely opportunities should we continue this bearishness. And it's all about the lightning bolt in the big time frame. Bang, bang, bang. We close underneath, I believe there. We bounce here and keep bouncing. We move back up. And once we're through 15.2, I'm not even going to be, there's no bear in me at that point. The bear's gone. The salmon's gone. They've all swept upstream, and we're going into hibernation. The bear goes hibernating around 15.2. Where are you going hibernating, bears? Are you hibernating in any zone? Wait, not 15.2, 15.4, sorry. At 15.4, the bear hibernates. Shane says, my 1-year-old Samsung is 120 hertz. Oh, I know, but don't worry, Apple reinvented 120 hertz. Hey, I'm a massive Apple fanboy, but yeah, they don't really come out with anything early. Tactical Spray says, I'm 100% in cash currently. Thank you as well to the 1,200 people joining us. If you enjoy the stream, make sure to subscribe. It does help us out. Smash the like button or the dislike if you don't like it. Hey, it's okay with me. I understand. Not everyone's going to agree with our concepts here. That's fair enough. Tesla, we'll do this one for you guys. I mean, if you're in it long, I wouldn't be concerned. I like Tesla still. $800 is the target for a lot of people. But if it goes back up to 800, it's highly likely it breaks it through. And 762 or 760 is a good pickup zone. We've got a great trend line for the deeper pickup. And we have 880 as the target. A few people have been attacking me about being bullish on Tesla recently. I'm not really too sure why. I guess it's because they don't think it's worth anything. But realistically, guys, I'm not being biased towards it. I'm just trading or talking about the concepts of the bullishness that are here. I went bullish because I think it's been bullish. I think we've been proven correct as a community. You can let me know in the comments, have we been proven correct about Tesla changing recently? It has been bearish. And hey, I was relatively bearish over here. I mean, if it had gotten past this, I was thinking all the way down to 450. I really was. And I might have even shorted the damn thing underneath if that had closed bearish. But with this trend line, with the knowledge that we have in these markets and the options that we've seen playing out, e.g. all these massive big put options for no apparent reason, you just look at this and it's not weakening. It's got massive buyers. Look at this, massive pin bar. You cannot deny that there's bulls somewhere here. Where there isn't any bulls is Square. 246. I'm still not positive on this company. I do love Square, and I was very bullish until they bought Afterpay because I realized how far they are behind. I want implementation. This is not the most fantastic technical stock in the world. So with a bearish close like that, I'm still not bullish it could go well down with the high prices they paid. 220 is the next support if we do get underneath this daily 200. And then I like it more at the $200 price target, 220, 200. That's just my opinion. Technically, I wouldn't be like terrified of it. And I think long term, you'll be probably correct. But we're still stuck in a massive range on this stock. Houston Vision says Tesla is hyper valued by hypes. Yeah, but I'm not hyping it. Investors will lose good for life and get lessons. I think there's a difference between trade and investment, though. Yeah. So an investment is you're looking for it to go to 3,000 or whatever. A trade is you're being realistic about certain key levels. We've seen 880 before. We know past 800 is going to get everyone hyped in. I agree. Plenty of people are going to lose lots of money on Tesla at certain points. That we've seen epic crashes in that stock followed by rebounds. But there's a difference between trade and investment. Just remember this. Difference. Giovanni, that is not an easy question. Hey, Tom, can you explain how price action is used? I mean, well, we are always doing price action. So really, we explain it every single stream with our analysis of the charts. You're basically, price action is the psychology of the market. Think of it as each candle is a war zone between the bulls and the bears. They're fighting it out. And at the end, they print it in time. And that print can tell us important information about what might happen in the future. And when we bring that print together with the left-hand side, recent left-hand side, we're basically interpreting the psychology. We understand then there's algorithms, there's other people at trading and all this nuanced stuff. Bring it all together and we have higher statistical chances of being successful at certain zones. If you want to be an investor, all you should ever really be doing is looking for incredibly solid trend lines and incredibly solid, big, well thought out horizontal lines. Okay. I don't want to see crappy trend lines. Most investors think they're investors and then they draw lines like this and they go through here and then they draw a line like this and then they draw lines everywhere and they're all over the place. And the problem with that is that an investor is looking for very specific buy the dip situations. So you've got to sit there in cash for a little while, wait for your stock to come down or break out on the horizontals, and then you slap it in. It's like that Apple stock. An investor or a big bank fund manager will only be really looking at two zones, here and here. And other than that, they don't care. The trader likes all the zones and they get into the smaller time frames. The investor probably only cares about this stock price and this stock price. How is price action affected by dark pools? Depends on the market. Oh, dark pool stuff. You're getting into a lot of speculation there. I think it's probably a bit behind closed doors to a degree. I don't really look at it as much. Certain stocks will be affected heavily, but the big stocks with the big volumes, less manipulated. How I do it is I basically say, look at the indices first. Okay, so you want to go indices. If indices are breaking under key supports, don't go and just buy your random stock that you're looking at. Let's say you're looking at Apple or you're looking at Microsoft or something like that until the index hits your next support. And then as it hits your support, your big stock, guess what? It's going to also be hitting most likely support. And then you can say, okay, I'm going to buy this dip because I've seen it on the indices. If you wanted the easiest check of the day, just look at the indices. Where's my key zones? Okay, when it hits here, send me an alert, buzz me, electrocute me. So I'm ready to go back to the charts. I'm going into the charts. Bam, 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 bam. Load up all the stocks you want. You'll find they're all at the same levels. When the index double bottoms, Apple will be double bottoming. Microsoft will be double bottoming. It's logical, yeah? It's logical. Okay, let's do some rapid fire. We've got 20 minutes till the market opens. US 500, US 100, we've covered them. We will go back very, very soon. For people that are holding TLT for whatever reason now, I don't like this chart if the 10 years going up. If you like TLT, 140 is about the zone. This is the bonds. Bonds difficult, guys. They are difficult. So 140, I feel like it could go down there, especially if the 10-year keeps going up. US oil, fantastic. 77 still remains the resistance. It's bouncing off previous 74. If this gets through this 77 zone, which we called last time together as a community, we smashed it out of the ballpark, guys. We've gotten this right a lot. Then the next zone I'm looking at is actually around 85. And the zone after that was to be about 92. So if we get past 77, there could be some further good oil trades. Just remember with oil, it's incredibly manipulated. OPEC, OPEC, OPEC. Watch those meeting dates. Be scared because they do random stuff and it can really affect oil price. It can really affect it. Okay, let's go rapid fire. In phase, firstly, support. However, I want it above 160. This is big chop here. It's chop city. So be careful on that one. You can dial into smaller time frames if you think, because it is support. And I will say this is held relatively well for itself in this pullback so far. It was already weak, so it's holding relatively well. Amazon, middle of nowhere land for Amazon, kind of looks weak. Closure below. Remember, that was a wick, no closure. Closure below. I could see this back at 3,200, 3,180. Middle of land. This is literally the limbo zone, and limbo zone is not a zone I like. I don't like the limbo. ARK closed below. Very interesting. The hyper stocks in ARK were so weak, it actually got underneath the channel. Is this a sign of bigger things to come? Don't TA this very often because it's pointless. But if you were TAing it, that would be your weakness. You'd actually think it's going back down here. I tend not to do that. But if you were, this is the thing you would think would happen. Yeah. If that was a currency, then I would think it goes down here. Beam, obviously down huge. Edit's down massive, almost on the support. If you like Edit, oh, it's down again, 48.50. Wow. 48.50. These bio stocks, when they get crazy, they get crazy. 48.50. It's even under this. Nasty. Is it news? Must be news. CRISPR, nasty. Biotech, nasty, nasty. CRM, hovering around that buy zone. Previous resistance becomes buy. Big bulls on this. This is serious volume coming into that. So just remember there was good price elasticity. SPLK was a super disappointment. That sucks, but your stop technically for an inverse head and shoulders should be very low. We've got big aims for it. I'd probably still maintain those aims. Plug, TTD, and NVIDIA. We'll do all of those. Don't worry. AJ says sign.al, please. Okay, let's have a look. Sign.al. Okay, I guess it's on the LSE is what you mean. Thank you to the 1,250 people joining us as well. Appreciate you guys. Oh, yeah. That was a great closure, man. Now, that's what I'm talking about in technicals. Oh, and you get the volume spike. Man, fantastic. We must have done it for you and talked about it. Yeah, look, you see that on any stock, you got to get excited. Volume spike coming out, breaks above all the resistances, amazing accumulation, even has the point of maximum pain on it when it was selling off. Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. Look, it's a strong breakout. It's gone to your first target. So this is your first target here. It's hit that first target and started rejecting. But when you have an accumulation like that, you can leave some on because it usually leads to that breakout happened for a reason, and it usually leads to further strength. That's a phenomenal bottom. Pickup zones probably around here, if you like it. I think the big move's over, though. Congrats if you got that closure. Fantastic. Great run, man. At resistance at this stage. Fantastic stuff. Let's do TTD. TTD sold pretty damn hard. It's on support right now. This was looking pretty good at the start of the week, but obviously nothing's safe when the Nasdaq tanks. It's a good setup. Stops would still be holding here. The stop here would not be holding. I think that's a solid setup anytime. You get above the trend line down. Actually, that's not a trend line. Why is that even there? Get rid of that crap. It's not good enough. So you've got that base. Let's go to the 2 hour. And basically, if you like TTD, it's on support. This is where people would be buying the dip. If it gets underneath here, it's pretty brutal. I mean, it will actually get tanked a lot harder. The problem with this stock is if the Nasdaq goes lower, this stock will get punished as well. Regardless of how good your technical analysis is on the stock itself, it's still going to get punished by the general fear that comes into the market. All tides turn, everything comes down. But it is on support at this stage. BA looks actually better than that right now. ADSK, this is another one we had earlier in the week. Obviously could not. Let's have a look at the daily. Couldn't get above these. I'm still watching it. Would like it above this zone. LRCX. Looks like that's gone now, so we can get rid of that. Never closed above. That's the importance. You find it. It doesn't do what you want. Dump that thing and go on to the next one. You're not actually in the trade, remember. You're waiting for the confirmation. Fubo here looks pretty bad. That's underneath the close. Again, one of these stocks that's up this market, but this is the scenario. Bam, bam, like that. Would I do it? Probably not. I wouldn't short this one. But yeah, looks weak. Looks weak. GME looks pretty weak. On support, but geez, very marginal here. Weakening set of lower peaks, not great. AMC, ooh, not good either. Didn't check AMC today. There's a bad close, guys. I don't have anything good to say for AMC fans. It's up 0.38, but that looks really weak. What's the chat think? Where's the next level for AMC, chat? Let me know. Let me know. Where do you think this is going? I know where I think it's going, but what do you think it's going? Why does my broker still say pre-market? Market's not open yet. Opens soon. Tom, can you pull up a tulip bubble crash? What's this? Whoa, the chat just went crazy. I missed heaps of things. 20, 30. Yeah, I'm going to go with right here. 32 is my next level for it. 32. Peloton. Haven't looked at Peloton in a while. Old Peloton. Oh, no. I didn't realize so low. Oh, sickness. Damn, a lot of hyper stocks. Really just terrible crapper investments this year. I've never owned Peloton. But wow, that is bad. I kind of see it as a fad. It kind of reminds me of those flab machines where you're like watching TV at like 12 o'clock at night. I know it's better, guys. I know it's better, but it reminds me of them. And then there's like people on the treadmills running, and then there's someone sitting there and there's a band. Like, you know what I'm talking about. That's what I always think of when I think of Peloton, but I know it's better. It seems like really, for me, this was, I'll give you my opinion. I wouldn't buy this thing coming out of COVID. I wouldn't buy it. I don't care about it. And I know I'm not the peak of physical fitness right now, but I am super keen to go to the gym. I want to get out of the house. I want to go to the gym. It's just fun. It's good to go out and do that stuff. So this thing is not making me excited. I would say $80 is where this thing's going to, though. It's unlikely to turn around here now that it's broken well below. It looks really sick. Let's take a look at the barbers. Barber back down. Previous support becomes resistance and it starts selling. It's not over yet necessarily for the barbers. TDOC looks as disgusting as ever. A market basically weakening here. Continuous set of lower peaks. Just, I almost want to scrap it, but I know one day when I scrap it, it'll come good. And I'll say, there's finally something there. Baidu, meh, still looks weak. JD, much better stock. Definitely holding its own. You can see it consolidating here. That's a good sign if you like JD. Could be looking soon. Twillo, really bad close. That's really bad close. Ooh, the lower peaks. It never got above any of this stuff. Damn, that is so bad. That makes me think like $300 is coming. It'll probably bounce today. See, all these stocks, they point towards weakness in the market overall. I mean, you've got weakness and then you pull up and then you find sellers here, nasty bears. It just doesn't look good. Did any of these look good? That doesn't look good to me. That's not a standard pullback. Nvidia looks a bit better. I mean, at least Nvidia is on our beautiful previous pull up. I can see why people bought this into the close. It's got good price elasticity. This is the support. If it gets under there, next line is the trend line here. That one. But this is a buy. This is the buy zone for a lot of people. And I'm sure a few of you guys picked it up into the close. PayPal? Sure. I'm sure I got a few dislikes about the Peloton. The shake weight. Yeah. I remember the shake weight. Dylan Anders says, if you live in Australia, you'll only be allowed to work out on a piton. A lot of people bought kettlebells as well, or else you'll be arrested. Yeah, it's partially true. Sister lives there. Good luck to you all. Well, hopefully your sister's doing okay. I do live in Melbourne, so Melbourne, as Americans call it. And yes, we have been in lockdown for a while. And yes, it sucks, guys. It really sucks. But it is what it is. What do we do now? Now, PayPal, not good close. Similar to the squares, very disappointing at this stage. And unfortunately, similar to the squares, we've got this stupid giant channel that's been in. That would have taken out tons of people's stop losses. It's just like any of these other stocks, really. Big supports got broken yesterday on these hypers, and then it goes back up, tests this level, and then all of a sudden you're seeing weakness again. It must bust this level up. This is another weak-looking chart. Plug and AVT. Oh my God, AVTI. Oh, what's this Avatar? Do you mean Activision Blizzard? I haven't looked at the Blizzard chart in a while. I hate the company. They ruin everything. What are they doing? I don't know. It's on support. They got great brand, and I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, I went on a massive rant about it last time. Let the rants be gone. It's in a downtrend. 20 moving average is what you need to close above. See, 20 weakness. You got to get above that so you can get higher. We've got about 7 minutes till the market opens here. It looks like most of the markets are weakening back into the supports. US 100 is now 14,840. Do you think tomorrow being the end of the quarter, we get pretty close manipulation? Yeah, certainly. PK Sutton says Diablo 2 remake. I bought it, PK. I couldn't resist. So I tried to support the shares. Hey, I played the game. I'll tell you this. There is many things that are a disgrace about it. However, it's pretty good still. But I have the rose tinted glasses, for that game. There's no way that it would have been. It could have been absolutely terrible, and I still would have said it's good. So don't listen to me about it. Let's keep going here. ATVI, that's stuck. Pins on support again. Not enough interest here. These stocks they all look so nasty. I mean, looks terrible. It's Roku, another one that looks like there's further weakness coming through. The Etsy's on support. Now, that's been a better stock recently. Previous resistance becoming support again. Looks a little bit better. DKNG through the box. That's actually going all the way back down. It looks like now to 47-ish, 47.50. Airbnb coming back to the 20 moving average. If you like that stock, right there is about the correct dip kind of zone for it. INTC, you guys know I'm a bit bullish on this at the moment. I think it did pretty good. I think it did pretty well. 1.21 down, not much at all. It's not even terrible. Christopher Collins says, working out at home sucks. Peloton is going down. Yeah. Yeah, it's not good. What about Cat? Christopher says, let's have a look at Cat. Jeez, retesting back from the bottom at 202. Wow, another area where bears can get control of the market. Tell you what, it's compelling stuff here across these boards. J Nimble, CHF $2. Hi, Tom. Any thoughts on Hubs? Let's take a look at Hubs. That's HubSpot. No much really thoughts. I guess that would be my thought. Trend line 50 support looking area, been very strong. That would be what I had, and I guess I had it before. So, yeah, for me, it's just really two different trend lines. You've got that bigger base, and then you've got the one that goes through the resistances into the supports and the 50. So it's on the buy kind of level at this stage. All right, I think we covered a whole bunch. Let's have a look at Lumen because that's been pretty strong as well this week. Oh, two bad rejection candles. I could see that coming all the way back down, guys, before it goes back up. Yeah, lots of weakness here. Lots of weakness. What did AMD end up doing? 6.14 down. Oh, just not much good stuff there, guys. All right, so US 500, let's get into it. We'll actually split this into the open. So we'll go US 500, US 100. We're at 14,828. So we're going to basically get down to what it looks like around that dip of 14.8 on the open. And the US 500 is going to open somewhere just before the 4,350. Oh, it's one of those days. We're going to be at support across two indices with the chance of further weakness coming in. Now, we know retail likes to buy. So what are you today? Are you bullish or bearish today, guys? Tell me right now. I'll do plug because I promised someone I would do it. So we'll do plug now. 3 minutes till the market open. Hey, not bad chart. Double bottom. You are correct. That is more of a bullish kind of pattern than the others. Yeah, overall, it does look better. If you liked plug, it looks like it's based. I would prefer it has volume, like that really good example before. But you're correct. Yeah, the expectation would be $30. And then after that, of course, you're looking at $34.50. Okay, people's expectations. They pull up, then they dump them down. Burak says, I'm a salmon today. Neutral at the end of the day, up first half, down second half of the session. Fair enough. Imagine if we get a long leg doji on the markets. That would be crazy. Aussie Cobber 71 says, I'm freaking out. Never be freaking out, Aussie Cobber. You've always got to be prepared for these situations. Scott Morgan says, bear to add to my long positions. Fair enough. Bearish till they announce debt ceiling raise, then huge bull. Yeah, they'll announce that. Unlikely they will not. That would be insane, wouldn't it? Undecided, but bull. Remember, if you are bearish, be nimble, be quick, and the bulls will kick your ass long term. Okay, the bulls will come in. There'll be more bulls. The bears will be eating the salmon, and then they'll just get horned. The horns will go into the bears. The bears will run into the cave, and they won't be out until the salmon comes back. That's the reality of the situation here, guys. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the bears barely win. It's a bullish market generally. Optimism pays. If I could yell at myself when I was younger and say, Tom, be an optimist always in the markets. Understand bears happen, but still be bullish and know when you've got to get back in, I would certainly be much better than I even am now because it's true. I mean, the stats don't lie. Every year's usually up. Here we go, guys. We're about to open. Markets coming in basically flat as a tack. I know it's up 0.2, 0.3, but they're up a lot more in the futures. It's in the middle of nowhere land. We have 43.50 support for US 500. We've got 14,800 support-ish level for the US 100. And we expect some fireworks after the first hour of trade. So basically, there's going to be bulls and bears going at it. Wall Street will make a decision. You'll be able to tell because they'll do a full reversal. And then all of a sudden, it'll be on with a big movement. I don't expect this to be a small day of trade. I expect it to be fairly ferocious. VIX sitting at 23, and we are open now. Tesla opens 0.57 up. Square opens 1.14. Apple very weak here on the bounce, 0.23. That's crap. Amazon 0.31. Phase 1. Pins. Ooh, pins broken a new support, it looks like there. 3.38% down. And then we have the rest of the stocks just kind of humbly opening here, slightly bullish. TTD, price elasticity winning there, and BA up huge, 3.5%. That's not bad. Let's just have a look at that BA chart again. Right into the resistance here on the open. Imagine if it gets above. Clearly, some bulls for the BA. You get above 230. Could be really what BA fans have been looking for. And I know there's a few of them out there. Yeah, it's a solid setup, guys. It's a solid recovery. It's a solid trend line. And we will watch that one over the next couple of days. So a little bit of buying. I would keep probably looking at these resistances as well. So I would have the futures resistances on my charts just in case. The real big heavy resistance is going to be 15K. But this 14,940, should it bounce up to there, may also cause the bears to come back in. So these are the two key levels if you're looking to short. If you're looking to buy, it's probably around the zone right now, 14.8 as well. And underneath this, of course, underneath the 14,760 would be a full-on collapse. We're talking 14.5 over the next couple of days of sessions. Silver at 23. Yeah, with silver and gold, I'm really not coming back to those until just late November, December. There's way too much manipulation and way too much uncertainty going on in them. The charts have sucked. When I take one loss or two losses on a chart, or I take a smaller profit than I thought I should have, and the technical doesn't play out to the full end, I pay attention and I say, hey, this thing's not trading technically right now. Ignore it for the time being. I'm doing a very similar thing in crypto right now. I think it's all stuck within a range. And until we get out of that range, I'm not interested in it. Whereas the indices have been fantastic. How's pins going? Pins is, where'd I put it? It's somewhere here, isn't it? Oh, pins has come up with a huge buy. Let's have a look. That's been a massive turnaround there. Wasn't it down 3% before? Or was that a wrong reading? Maybe it was a wrong reading. That chart doesn't seem to show it that way. Let's have a look here. Was the data feed wrong? Oh, okay. No, I don't understand that at all. The data feed must have been wrong. So yeah, ignore my comments on pins. That was wrong. DXY suggests SPY will be taking another leg down. You're correct, Delta Gamma. DXY is very bullish here. How about SE, Tom? Oh, I like SE. Is it cheap yet? No, it's not cheap. No, well, it's never really cheap. No, I don't like SE at this price. I like SE a lot, but I want 300 bucks. It's a rip-off anyway. Once, mark my words, I love SE a lot, but once it misses one earnings, you will see a tank, and it will get tanked massively. Expect 20, 30% wipe off. That's what happens with these stocks. You miss one earnings in growth. Anyone that's been in the markets for 10 years, put your hands up right now. Have you ever traded a growth stock? It's missed one earnings and then lost 20 to 30% in a matter of days. Let us know in the comments below. Let us know right now, because people need to hear about that. They don't understand that you miss an earnings on a hyper stock. You better be prepared to hodl in, and for them to turn around the business. Weakness coming in now in the S&P 500. Natural gas getting pummeled doesn't surprise. Look at this weakness coming in here now for the US 500. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. Oh, going to put pressure on the 43.50. We're in the middle of nowhere land still. So 43.50, if the bulls are going to come in, that's where they have a go. And if the bears bust it down, people will probably try scalping here, I'm sure, trying to pick that with tight stops. And if the bears bust it down, then 4,300 is the next zone. It's pretty clean. 43.50, 44, 4,300. And we were spot on yesterday. Got through 15K on the Nasdaq, straight into the 14,800. Finkin79 says they can beat earnings on a hyper stock and get 10% down the next day. Yeah, but that's because it already ran up into it. And Houston Vision says, yes, I'm in the market more than 10 years and I've seen up to 42% corrections in a day. Yeah, it happens. Big stat, if it's not technology, it's a standard business and you drop about 20% in the day, your statistics of ever getting back to the peak are actually less than a coin flip, if you can believe it. So when a stock gets pummeled 20%, it's not good other than tech. Bio and tech can both come back, but generalized stocks, they don't come back as much as you think. Tom, do you see a head and shoulders on the SPX daily chart, or is that not a good head and shoulders? Let's have a quick look to finish off the stream here. Look at the DXY. It's a tank. Go. Bull. Continue. It's a beast. So you're saying daily, is that right? Nah, it's not a good head and shoulders. So you're saying left shoulder, head, right shoulder. I don't know why people not attack on you, but everyone seems to see head and shoulders everywhere. Don't think about the pattern so much. Think about the psychology of the market. So really, what is a head and shoulders? The only reason you want to see it that way is because you've got this confidence in it. And then you take the distance between the neckline and your idea and the head, and then you go, oh yeah, I know it's going down there. It can be, it can't be, but the idea of a head and shoulders is always weaker right shoulder than left shoulder. So fair enough. And the neckline is okay here, but you're always going to see it because what is a head and shoulders really? It is a peak, or the right shoulder is a peak into a trough, into a lower peak, into a lower trough. There's a reason we talk about lightning bolts. Most patterns form off lightning bolts. So it's less about the pattern and more about just realizing that there's a weakness in the market due to the story it's telling you. And we know where that weakness gets ensued. Closures under here, which means 14,800 on the Nasdaq gets beaten through, and we go towards our next section. Kevin says Ty is screaming for joy on the DXY right now. Oh, we both are, yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with the old currency right now. That's probably the best market to be in. I like the indices as well a lot. Tyrone, by the way, if you don't know, is the other person I started FX Evolution with all the years ago. Come join us Wednesday webinars on FX Evolution live as well. It's a great channel. Yields are turning up. Let's have a look at yields. You mean yields are turning down? Yeah, it's at the resistance. This is an important chart to continue watching. US 500 now getting close to the support in the first hour of power. Remember, don't be nasty bear until you get those closures, guys. If you were a bear and you've got scales in, fair enough. But yeah, 14.8 and US 500, 43.50, then they're not easy levels for them to break. They might just smash them, but they are key zones. Show people the Costco chart for the last 20 years. All right. Oh, Cisco, sorry. Yeah, well, I know why you want me to click it because I know what happened during the .com and I know it never got back properly. But all right, we'll show you it. Here you go, guys. Here is a Cisco chart and we need to go for a monthly here. And there is the .com bubble. And remember, Cisco is a company that survived it. And there is where it is now. And Microsoft was similar. If you look at a Microsoft chart, which is probably a better story because Microsoft's such a successful company, And it's been, you can say, okay, well, but Tom, look how good it is now. But until they got Office 365 off the ground, their cloud stuff, it didn't do any of this. So let's ignore the last 3 to 4 years and just think about the investment from the dot-com bubble all the way. So this is 1999 to 2000, $58. It didn't reach that price again to November 16. You're talking about better than a Cisco company, one of the biggest companies in the world, the most famous companies that every person has on their computer pretty much. And this thing couldn't even get above a dot-com bubble valuation until 16, 17. So when things go bad, they go bad, guys. Always practice a little bit of discipline and understand your risks. And this chart looks insane, by the way, when you put it on a monthly. So US 100 still in limbo. All right, guys, we'll leave you with it there. You've got the key levels every 200 points on the Nasdaq. If you want to, you could go down to the 15-minute chart. Use the futures resistance as a bit of a key here for breakouts. Under 14.8 is what we're looking for the bears, and under 43.50 on the S&P 500. For the bulls to take control of the market, I feel like they need to get the S&P back above the 4,400, and that's where they'll start taking it long. Have a great session. Have a great day. Next week as well, we move to the close, okay? So I'll be announcing that on the channel. I'm not going to get up so early. I prefer trading the close anyway. So we're moving to the close. If you want to join us there, we appreciate it very much. And yeah, the close is the key, guys. It's going to be exciting. What do you think? Do you reckon we should do half an hour before the close and half an hour after? I'm thinking that might be the way to go. What works best with our American, Australian, and everywhere else in the world audience? What are we thinking, guys? Mama says, oh, how am I going to wake up now? Yeah, I got to do it for my own health. I can't run 1:30 a.m. streams anymore. It's just insane. 45 minutes before the close. We could probably do that. 1 hour before. What time is it, AU? I have to still work it out, but it'll be pretty early. Probably like 6 a.m. or something. It'll move to 7, though. We can try a couple of different ones. Yeah, we'll try a couple of different times. But I think it's going to be exciting because we haven't done much close analysis, and really it's where it's at. The retail hour of power is kind of where the plebs sit, like us. But the big boys, they're on the close. And you've seen it plenty of times. You hit a key support, and then the next day, if you'd bought that key support, the next day, boom. But the gap between the closed market and the open market's 2%. You could have had it in the morning. And while it may seem insane to you, like, why do I want to hold a position overnight? You'll find sometimes it does pay off. In fact, it often does. How many times do you miss it because you forgot to take it in the close? All right, everybody. We'll catch you next stream. Thank you so much. And I'll read all this chat soon. Before and after close for optimal benefit. Optimal profit. That's true. All right. Catch you, everybody. Bye for now.